Welcome back to Think Fishing. I'm your host, Tim Armstrong. Thanks for joining me again. I've got a great one for you today. If you're interested in catching big redfin, I think you're going to love this. So in March this year, I travelled across the Tasman to New Zealand, South Island, down to the region of Otago, where I know there is a beautiful little stream that's hardly fished at all. Now, it's tucked away in some pristine farmland, absolutely surrounded by willow trees that make it very, very difficult to see the water, let alone get to it, much less cast a lure in there. Very steep banks, and which makes it difficult. But what really makes it difficult, aside from those overhanging willows, is the crystal clear water. So if you're fishing crystal clear water, you've got to be very, very careful about the type of lure that you choose, particularly if it's relatively shallow and it's a small stream. So we're going to talk about three different things. Got some great footage, but we're going to talk about three different learnings that I had while I was there. Now, one of them in relation to the lures, what do you use when you need to fish in very, very shallow, clear water? Well, it's not going to be one of these. It's one of my favourite lures, the good old spinnerbait. It's got far too much action, far too much flash, and it's far too heavy. Fish are going to see it coming a mile away. Or what about a stump jumper? Again, one of my favourite lures. These things catch a ton of fish. But again, it's got a very, very aggressive action. It's brightly coloured. It's likely to scare fish off in those conditions. If it was a different situation, slightly muddy water, perfect. Well, how about a jerkbait? Well, this is one of my favourites. It's a Daiwa double clutch. It's translucent. It's got a tight shimmering action, so it's very subtle. Problem is though, it's got treble hooks. And while treble hooks are great, they're not so good when you're fishing in trees, overhanging grass, and generally a small, tight, snaggy spot. So what I decided to use was a soft jerkbait. So a little bit like the Daiwa double clutch. It's very, very subtle. It doesn't have a huge amount of action. In fact, you determine how much action it has by the way that you fish it. But what is most important about this is you can fish it completely weedless and almost completely snagless. So to do that, we fish it on an EWG hook. So that's an extra wide gap hook. There's a bit of weight on the bottom there that's molded around the hook, and that actually helps not only to sink the lure but give it a bit of action. And you use this little spring device on the end here known as a hitchhiker, and that's how you attach the lure to the hook. And this, of course, is what it looks like when it's all set up. So you can see there that hook comes through the back, and pretty well snagless as it is. But if you, what's known as T-expose it, just put the point of that hook back through its back, that will virtually not get caught in anything. So to sum up, very, very difficult water to fish, it's very clear, and there's a lot of snags. So three things to think about. How do we fish snagless? How do we find a bait, or what bait can we use or lure can we use that's very, very subtle and isn't going to frighten fish off with its bright colour or its aggressive action? And also one last point, and this is something that's a challenge whenever you're fishing for redfin. Redfin tend to have very soft mouths. So a big redfin, if you're chasing big redfin, you're going to find that hooks pull extremely easily. Well, we'll go into that. We'll see an example of that, and we'll see how to get around it. So without further ado, let's get out on the water. We're going to catch a lot of big redfin, so you're going to enjoy this. What a magnificent spot. G'day folks, Tim Armstrong here from Think Fishing. Thanks for joining me. I've just travelled 3 hours from Melbourne to Christchurch, and then another 3.5 hours further by car to come to this beautiful river, beautiful part of the world, chock full of big brown trout and big redfin. Can't wait to get amongst it. Check this out. Hold on, I'll show you. Another big one was followed it in. I know, it's like the third cast. Right, time to go back, my friend. And that is what did the damage. Certainly is. Right, pop you back. Gee, that's a cracker of a fish. That is, well, it's almost 40. 39.5 centimetres. That's a cracker of a fish. Got him! Oh, gee. That's another good fish. Come on, up you go. Oh, come on. Come on. Up you come. Look at that. Oh. Oh, he's off. Well, that was another good fish. Oh, probably closer to 40 than 39. Man, it fought well. So once again, casting out to just under the shade of those willows. A few twitches, let it sink. A few twitches, let it sink. What a beautiful spot. Not a sound, not a breath of wind, not a human being in sight. gee, another good fish. Jesus. Just managed to get him out from the edge of that willow tree. Oh, look at that. Come here, come on. Oh, yes. That's a really good fish. Gee, look at the size of that. That's an absolute cracker. Now just take notice of that. You can see where where I've hooked him, and it's torn a hole on that membrane, and that will enable the hook to come out very, very easily. The longer you've got him in the water that you're playing in, the more chance he has of getting off, so be really careful of that. Right, let's measure him and get him back. Okay, let's get them back. One last look. Magnificent 39.5 centimetre redfin. Away you go, buddy. Thanks for coming. Done. Oh, gee. What a fish. I don't know how I'm going to land it. But, oh my God. That's a huge redfin. That's what I came here for. Wow. That's a good fish. That's a stonker. Landing it might be difficult. Oh gee. Can we do it? Oh. Wow. That's what I came here for. Jeez, look at that. What a fish. What a fish. That's exactly what I came for. Whew. Caught on a fluke on a weighted hook, fished weedless. There it is. Whew. Right, let's get this measured and weighed and released. Oh, gee. Settle down. Oh, it's not even 40. 37, but gee, it's fat. Yeah, maybe, yeah, just on 37. Wow, what a fish. Right, let's get the scales tiered. £1.08. Not bad. I'll take that any day of the week. Wow, what a great fish. That's what I came here for. There was no way he was letting that fluke get past him. So what I'm doing, casting over as far as I can in amongst the trees, the willows, and then bringing it back over the top of the weed beds into the channel and then letting it drop into the channel. There we go. So I cast that straight into a tree, didn't get caught up, came straight through it because the hook's buried, but I still caught fish. Even though that hook point's well and truly buried within the soft plastic, that fish hooked up very easily. Wow, that's awesome. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Those redfin were absolute crackers, and what a spot. Love being out in that pristine farmland, away from people, away from traffic. Certainly nothing like fishing around Melbourne. Anyway, 3 key points. We talked about how to fish snagless. So how to fish where you've literally got to cast under trees, or even in some cases into trees, into overhanging vegetation without getting hooked up. And we decided that a soft plastic weedless jerkbait is the way to go. And this also fits with learning number 2, which is all about finding a lure that's very subtle in nature and isn't too overwhelming, doesn't telegraph its presence and frighten fish away. Again, soft plastic, weedless jerkbait. And finally, we looked at how hooks come loose on big redfin. So as we saw, if you're putting a lot of pressure on a fish, you're trying to pull it out of those snags and stop it from running, invariably you are going to create a hole in that fish's mouth. Unless you've caught it in the roof of the mouth, if you caught it anywhere on the side of the mouth, it's going to create a hole. So the best way to avoid that is to use a rod with the softest tip you have. So that way, when the redfin shakes its head, because they're great head shakers, it's not going to pull a hole in its jaw, creating an opportunity for that hook to slip out. So once again, that's really important. So they were the 3 key things. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, tight lines.